Hello and welcome to another Just the Gist. Many. Oh, see, that's fun.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we liked that.
Yeah.
Do we like that?
I think that's
Although,
gonna
is
stay.
that like copyright though? I don't know if we're allowed to do that.
I've
Wait,
not
I don't know
heard
what
it
you're
before.
talking about.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's completely original.
You just changed the
Original
key a little
competition.
though, right? Money. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so good I can't sing it off key. You laughed a little too much at that, Hayley Stavely. Okay, welcome to Just Mini. With me today, James Joseph
That's
and
me.
Hayley Stavely.
Hello.
Who just inadvertently admitted she thinks I'm a terrible singer.
No, I was laughing at how much you were laughing at your own joke.
Okay, here we go. It's Just Mini, so we get straight to it because it's Mini. Okay, the year is 2009. We all had chunky side fringes and fabric belts from Supre. Avatar, the movie we all saw but don't remember, was in cinemas. We all went to cinemas still. The poetic lyrics of Lady Gaga were all the rage, like, my, poker face, my, poker face. And let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Shanoska winner now. This was also the year. No, I love Lady Gaga. That was no shade at all. Like, I love Lady Gaga. This was also the year that for one tense day, we all of us, got caught up in the drama of a little boy floating into space in a giant balloon. This is the Just the Gist mini of Balloon Boy.
Excellent.
James, question already.
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know about
I
Balloon
don't know
Boy?
Balloon Boy.
You don't know Balloon Boy?
No.
You don't know Balloon Boy?
He went up in space and no.
You don't talk to Rosie much, do you?
You were too busy like putting a lot of gel in your side fringe because
Yeah.
you had an epic one.
No, I don't know Balloon Boy.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Wow.
Well, strap in.
This
I-
is going to be great.
Yeah, sorry.
Strap in. Don't tell him because
No,
like
I won't.
he can't handle suspense, so this is going to be good.
I thought Balloon Boy was always like the boy in the bubble.
Like
No.
from Seinfeld.
They're two different boys.
Yeah, no, this is different.
They're two different boys.
This is a different
Okay,
one.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Here we go. It's October 15, 2009, and the Heene family in Colorado are filming a test of the giant helium balloon they've been making together. So the Heene, they're a dorky family. So the Heene family is made up of Dad Richard, Mum Mayumi, and three sons, Falcon, who was 6, Rio, who was 8, and Bradford, who was 10. And the dad, Richard, fancied himself a bit of an inventor. So this giant balloon was a prototype of something they'd been working on. They were like a family that sort of did experiments like this together and this kind of random stuff. And the prototype they'd made was kind of an early version of a giant drone. So there was like a big sort of basket at the bottom, I would say the size of like a pretty big esky. And then like it was pretty ramshackle.
Also, I
And
like
then-
that you used a pretty big esky as
pretty
your
big
like.
esky?
But
What else would it be?
I don't know, like, but eskies come in so many different sizes. Like,
Or like a pretty big one. Like the basket was like, yeah, a pretty big esky.
Yeah, I know what an esky looks like, and I know what a big esky looks like, and that I've got that.
Yeah, it's like
No?
Well, I mean, going off the name of this episode, it's an esky big enough to fit a kid in.
Yeah.
Is a pretty big esky.
okay.
I feel like only murderers would know that detail. You know,
What
the
are you
ones big
saying,
enough to
Rosie?
fit a kid in. So anyway, so the bottom of this like balloon they're making in their backyard is the basket part, which is sort of like a big box esky size, and then there's all these sort of tarpaulins that make up the big sort of balloon on top of it, and then they've covered that in like that silver, you know, like those heat blankets, like
Yeah.
those. So they've covered it in that material. So the whole thing kind of looks like almost a flying saucer or like a hot air balloon.
Okay, so it's like a hot air balloon,
Yeah.
not like a big helium balloon.
No, but it is helium.
Oh, so it's like a weather balloon.
So they fill it with helium. Yeah, it's
Okay,
like a
yeah.
weather balloon. Okay, science nerd.
No, I'm just saying,
that
what kind of-
wasn't a reference I had, but sure, it's like a weather balloon.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So they fill it with helium,
Wow.
like just the party stuff you get from, Big W or whatever.
Hindenburg waiting to happen.
And so they're kind of just they want to make like their own sort of, I guess, helium weather balloon. They're calling it their own like, spaceship or their own like flying saucer because it's all silver. And but they have it tethered in the backyard, so it's like tied to ropes. And this is the first time they've sort of filled it with helium, and they've been working on it for a while, and they're going to see if it floats. Like, it's not going to float away because it's tied down, but they're just going to see if what they've built when they fill it with helium, if it floats at all. And so it does. It rises up, and they're filming it because they want to film all their experiments. So they've got like, there's footage of this because they were filming it.
Are they like family vloggers?
I think they're wannabe family vloggers, so they're filming it.
It feels like a family vlogging kind of thing.
And so the balloon starts rising up, but then it just keeps like rising and rising and rising. And that's when Richard realizes that someone, him, forgot to tie the balloon down. So they were just meant to be checking if it could float. They weren't expecting it to float away, but it does. And then they start freaking out because like, this thing they worked on really hard is going off into the sky, and like they've spent heaps of money putting it together, and they're kind of like, oh no, like when you let go of a balloon, you're like, oh, like it was like the intense version of that. So on camera, you can see them all being like, oh, what? Who didn't tie it down? Like blah, blah. But then things get worse because just as Richard and Mayumi are freaking out, wondering like, oh my gosh, how will we get this balloon back? And also we might cause some problems here because it could go up and who knows what, crash a plane or something. They realize that they don't know where Falcon is. And Rio, the middle son, he's like, guys, Falcon climbed into the basket. And they're like, what? And he said, right before you started filling up the balloon, Falcon climbed into the basket. Like, I think he's up there. And then the parents freak. Richard immediately calls 911 and he's trying to explain, like, I made this giant balloon and my kid's inside and it legit went up in the sky and we need help. Yeah, and like the person on the line is like, can you put me onto another adult, please? And so he puts Mayumi on and she's like, yes, it's true. Like, he went in a balloon, he's up in the sky, like, we are worried. And of course, because journalists all have like police scanners and stuff, they hear this call. And so they're like, ding, 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 this is an amazing story. A 6-year-old is floating off in a balloon into space. And so like media choppers are in the air, like within 10 minutes, this thing's this huge story. Like it's like breaking news in the middle of the day. They cut into all the shows and it goes viral immediately. Like, I remember watching it in real time in Australia because we picked it up even here. And this giant balloon is like in the air. It's this giant silver balloon and it goes up so high. It reaches heights of 2 kilometers.
Wow.
Like, that is essentially like almost like this kid almost qualifies for space on the Katy Perry level of qualifying of having gone into space. Like, he goes very high. And so it's on camera and everyone was just watching it because it was like, are we going to see a kid fall out of this balloon? Like, or is this balloon suddenly going to give way? I mean, it's just made of tarpaulins and foil blankets and an esky box. Like, it was one of those news stories that like was a life or death situation. You couldn't look away, but you know that deep down secretly a lot of news producers were hoping something bad would happen because it was like oofed, gripping television.
What could you do though in that situation?
Nothing. So the rescue squads were on it, but there wasn't a lot they could do, like, except follow the balloon and try to be there if and when it drops, either quickly or slowly, or if and when a child falls out of it, either quickly or slowly. You couldn't really get up close to it with any kind of like aircraft in case you risked, messing with it. So it was very intense television, but ratings gold. Like, literally there was a Barack Obama like town hall somewhere and they interrupted, not on television, at the event. They were like, excuse me, like future president or president at the time, when was this? Like, president. A kid's up in a balloon. Everyone shut up. Like, it was like everyone was watching because it was
this is crazy
real. It was like, and that's what's kind of gross about it. Like, everyone was watching. It was kind of like, why is this so exciting? And it's like, oh, because a 6-year-old might plummet to their death, like on camera, So it was crazy. This balloon is in the air for almost 2 hours. And in that time, it travels 80 kilometers.
Oh.
And everyone's just following it. And eventually it starts like slowly floating down. Like when a balloon starts to lose helium, it takes like 5 months in your house. But in this case, it only took like 2 hours. So it starts just sort of very slowly like lowering to the ground. And it's sort of in like this desert area. So luckily it's happening in the middle of like nowhere and not in like the middle of a freeway or something. It's in this sort of vast desert area. There's all these police cars, there's all these news vans, so it's all on camera. And there's one guy down there who like when the balloon slowly, it just very slowly comes to a very gentle touchdown on the ground. And like this like policeman just goes running over to it and like grabs the rope hanging from it, and there's like a newsman like live going, okay, thank God, like that was a soft landing, hopefully he sustained no injuries, like the police are looking inside now, all we need to do now is get Falcon out of the balloon. And so then the police are like looking, and then they're looking more, and then they're looking more, and like they start like ripping it open, and then they're like, Falcon isn't in the box, like there's no kid in this balloon. And so someone in the media then reports, I think mainly because they were all like, this isn't as exciting as we wanted. Yeah, so then someone starts saying, oh, if you look at the footage from the last 2 hours, at one point you can see something falling from the balloon. So then it becomes like, oh my God, no, this is still bad, because at some point in that 80 kilometers, he fell. And so we now have to go and like find a body along the way. So the media back at like the Heene house are going nuts, and like the media back at the desert are going nuts, and the police rescue team are like, well, now we've got to literally look every square inch from this spot 80 kilometers all the way back to the house. And then like 10 minutes later, the sheriff who's at the Heene house walks out to the front yard, points to all the cameras, puts his thumb up and says, we found him. He's in the house.
It's lucky that he fell straight back into his house.
Yeah. He says to journalists, apparently the boy's been in there the whole time. He's been hiding in a cardboard box in the attic above the garage. I don't want to conjecture, but this is not the first time we are searching for a kid, and once he realizes everyone is looking for him, he hides because he's afraid of getting in trouble. Aww. And so everyone's kind of like, oh, like... okay. Oh, okay. And so everyone is just kind of thrilled. Like, what a happy ending. Like, thank God. Like, that's a cheeky little kid, but what a story. Wow. Like, the whole search and rescue operation had cost $2 million, but he was safe because there's a lot of choppers and all kinds of things.
And it was entertainment for that day as well. Like it was an exciting story for the news, for everyone. You the world, apart from me, was watching this thing in real time.
Because you were in the mirror doing your sign fringe. Yeah.
Like, that's an exciting news day.
Yeah. So everyone across the world wants to talk to this family. They come out of the house at one point. The dad later says in an interview, a documentary actually came out earlier this year on Netflix about this, and it's the first time the family have talked about it for ages. So they come out, and the dad is kind of like, we're just relieved he's okay, but like they all sort of look a bit like shell-shocked, but also a bit like thrilled by the cameras.
Yeah.
And then like they're told the press won't leave you alone unless you do an interview. Like, so they decide the next night to sit down for a big interview on the Larry King show. But it's not, he's got the night off, so it's some other dude. But it's still like the big show that everyone
watches.
Larry
King's off night.
Yeah. So the whole family sit down for an interview that's done like via like, you
satellite.
Know, yeah, which was via satellite back then, which now we just say like Zoom or whatever. So they're in their living room. And this is the very infamous interview that I can't believe you don't know about this, James.
I haven't seen this either.
So this is what blows the story up at the time. So everyone's just thrilled he's okay. It's this cute story, like annoying but cheeky kid, like, oh my gosh. And even the sheriff had said often kids just get scared that they've screwed up and then they just keep hiding and then they don't know what to do. And they're three very cute boys, and so, you know, it's like it's good TV. And at one point in the interview, Falcon, who's only 6, mind you, he's asked, like, you know, could you hear people calling your name when you were hiding? And he says, yeah, I could hear people calling my name. And his mum, Miyumi, says to him, oh, really? Like, if you could hear us calling your name, why didn't you come out? And he looks up at her and his dad, really confused, and he said, because you guys said that we did this for a show.
What? I didn't realize he just fully betrayed his parents like that.
And literally the dad, Richard, goes, and the mum looks a bit panicked, and then the interviewer is like, wait, hold on. What did Falcon mean by that? And Richard's like, I don't know. He's sick. He doesn't know what he's
Falcon. That's good old Falcon for you.
And so in that one moment, the entire world is like, you guys staged this. It went from being like an accident is annoying but kind of charming and believable.
Yeah, kind of a funny story.
But what do you mean we did it for a show? So the fallout happens fast. This family's love for 24 hours, but life moves pretty fast when people think they're going to get to feel some schadenfreude. So
does the interview just end?
Well, yeah, it's very awkward, and they answer a few more questions, and you can tell that the interviewer has the producer in his ear going, push him on that, push it, what was that? And Rich is just like, he's a kid, I don't know. In the next 24 hours, this blows up. The media digs into the Heene family, and it turns out that Richard and Mayumi are failed actors who met at drama school. No judgment.
You won't get it from me.
They had been on the reality show Wife Swap twice.
Oh.
And for the last 6 months before this balloon boy thing, Richard had been desperately shopping around a reality show based around his kooky family and their science experiment, but they hadn't been getting any interest. So with that history, it did not take long for the world to think that when Falcon said, but you said we did this for a show, it's because his parents had set the whole thing up as a publicity stunt to try and sell their reality show.
Wow.
I thought he said something like much more vague, like, because you told me not to or something. And then it was like, oh, well, he could have thought that they meant something else. Or,
No, he said, but you said, because you said we did this for a show. And he's like confused because it's like he thinks when his mum says to him, if you could hear us calling, why didn't you come out? And that's a 6-year-old thinking, fuck you, why am I getting in trouble? You told me to stay in there. It was for a show. He just says it. So, yeah, that's when their family then, Richard especially, thinks that he can turn this around. He releases the footage because he thinks we're brilliant actors. This will be believable. Like the footage of us realizing that he's up in the thing, but it is just so like, oh no, what do you mean he's in the basket? And then Mayumi makes sure she's on camera and she's like, no, and they're all just, it's very
like Gypsy Rose.
I mean, you can watch the footage in the Netflix documentary that's on now and judge for yourself.
I can't wait to watch that.
I think it looks very fake. So after that CNN interview where Falcon drops that bombshell, the next 24 hours, the world is hating on them. They release the footage thinking this will help. That makes it worse. So then they decide, we'll go on Diane Sawyer and we'll explain. So
they always think they can explain.
They always double down. They always think
Yeah.
they can explain. So they go on Diane Sawyer, and it's again a satellite interview. So they're at home, and they sort of have explanations for it now. Richard's immediately, she's like, what did he mean by that? And she's like, he's like, he was just very confused. There were a lot of cameras around. Everyone was talking about TV shows and news, and he's 6 years old and he didn't really know. And then Diane Sawyer's like, Falcon, what did you mean when you said that? And it's so sad. He just looks up at his parents and he goes, I'm going to throw up.
Oh.
And they're kind of looking at him like, we're on camera.
You're going to get such a beating.
And they're like, answer the question, honey. And Diane Sawyer goes, no, let him go to, I think he should maybe, is he okay?
Yeah.
And normally that's where you would cut away from an interview. But the producer is interviewed later and he's like, this was television gold. This kid was saying he needed to throw up and they were telling him to just keep talking. And everyone thinks that they're weird stage parents already. It was like, keep this. We were saying to Diane, keep it going, keep it going. So Diane's like, I think you should let him go to the bathroom. So then they're like, okay, Falcon, go to the bathroom. So then you hear him get up and walk off. And Diane Sawyer is like to Mayumi, do you think maybe you should go with him and check he's okay? And then all of a sudden, literally in the back, because the kid's mic'd, you start hearing,
no.
like you hear him puking off camera. This poor little, can you imagine the anxiety of like not knowing what to say? Your parents are mad at you, but you feel like everyone else is mad at you. You feel like all of this is your fault. You're like, he probably didn't know there was any hoax. He was just told, go to the attic and don't come out till we tell you. Like,
he probably didn't understand what he got wrong last time and shitting himself that he's going to say the wrong thing again.
Exactly. So that's after that Diane Sawyer interview, that's when the world is just like, you guys are the worst. That poor little kid. I'm going to throw up. So there is an investigation after this, like a police investigation. And soon the sheriff announces that they had decided that the whole thing was staged as a publicity stunt. It's Richard denies everything. They get him in for a polygraph and they trick him. They say, come to the police station to pick up your balloon. And he's like, okay. And when he gets there, they're like, oh, do you want to do this polygraph? I mean, if you're telling the truth, there's no reason you wouldn't. Why don't you do it?
Yeah,
and he's like, totally, yeah, I'll do it. I don't care. But then he starts doing weird stuff during the test, like pretending he's falling asleep. And like he just... It's like he panicked and agreed, but then so they couldn't really get a conclusive response from him. So then they get Mayumi in and she just tells them. So she's like, she admits that it's a hoax. They ask her specific questions like, so did you tell the boys that they just had to say blah, blah? And she's like, yeah, something like that. But then she comes out later and says, my English is not very good and like I got confused by the phrasing and I wasn't really sure what I was saying yes to, but the like prosecution says later she has a degree in English from her native Japan. And when she came here, she like studied for several more years. Like this is someone who does speak with a heavy Japanese accent, but she is fluent in English. So yeah, Mayumi basically signs an affidavit saying she knew all along that Falcon was hiding in the residence. She says that the couple planned the hoax for a few weeks before releasing the balloon on October 15. They'd instructed their 3 children to lie to authorities as well as the media, and the whole purpose of all of it was to make the family more marketable for future media interests. But again, like she says, her English is not good, and also she was worried that she'd be deported to Japan. So it's also like 2 things. Oh, my English wasn't good, but also I did understand, but they threatened me with deportation. It's like, well, which is it?
Let me give you a bunch of excuses and you guys just pick whichever one you like.
Anyway, she and Richard both plead guilty because they said they were worried about her being deported, and also they were offered a deal in which if they pleaded guilty, they could each serve their jail time at separate times, so they wouldn't have to put their kids
Leave the
into
kids
care.
that they care so much about.
So Richard got 90 days in jail and 100 days community service, and he had to pay $36,000 in restitution and write an apology letter to all the agencies that searched for Falcon. Mayumi got 20 days in jail, and like I said, they served it at different times. Their episodes of Wife Swap were taken off the air, I had never seen them.
That's probably worse punishment for them than the jail.
I had never seen them until the Netflix doco this year has some footage from the Wife Swap episodes. And there was like quite a bit of attention on the family over the years. And Richard then started doing some interviews saying like they only pleaded guilty because they had to and it wasn't a hoax and it was a genuine accident. Oh, and also my 3 sons have formed the world's youngest heavy metal band and you can book them to play at all your events. Here's their YouTube channel. So
Give up, dude.
Falcon, Bradford and Rio formed a band called the Heene Boys with a Z. And you can find video clips of theirs on YouTube where they sing and head thrash in front of like a dodgy balloon graphic, and their first song they released was called No Hoax. And then in 2025, the Balloon Boy doco comes out, and this is the first time that the family has been interviewed. Pretty much the kids had not been interviewed since the thing first happened. Richard had not been interviewed since he was trying to launch the kids' heavy metal band. And so 2025, they're finally interviewed, including Falcon, who's now I think he's like early 20s. They all say that it's real, like Falcon's. But it's weird. you don't like Richard totally denies it all. He's doing his best acting in the world. I don't believe him for a second. Miyumi as well. I don't believe. The kids, I think, is different. The brother, Rio, the one who saw him climb into the thing and was like, my brother, in his interview in the Netflix doco, I'm like, he seems genuine. Like, I was really scared my brother was in that thing. So I think maybe the parents didn't tell the kids. Why would they? Why would they? And Falcon says, look, I don't remember a lot of it because so many of my memories are meshed with footage I've seen on TV. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm remembering and what I'm not. But all I remember is I felt like I was in big trouble, like I'd done something wrong and I was in big trouble and I didn't really understand why. He says that he did always hide in the basket of the balloon. He liked it in there. But that day he kept getting in trouble for climbing in there. So then he went and hid in the attic and fell asleep. So that's what he says. So I don't know if the kids even really know or I think the parents faked it. I absolutely think they faked it. Well, but in this documentary is 2025 and they are all denying it.
But if they've been like telling them, basically gaslighting them since they were tiny,
that it happened,
they might genuinely believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the years following the Balloon Boy incident up until this documentary came out this year, the family moved to Florida. Richard and Miyumi are still together. Richard continued to invent weird contraptions, including, and this is why just before we started recording, I was because I was just Googling to confirm if they were still married, and it was like, where are they now? And then it's like, oh, he's still inventing stuff, and he's invented a bunch of weird shit, including the blow jab fan, a fan in a plastic box used for cooling genitalia. I was just Googling to see if they were divorced.
Your reaction makes sense now. Because you just went, plastic box, and then started laughing, and we were like, what?
And I was like, I'll tell you in the episode. So none of the inventions are being sold anymore. He just sort of invents weird things and patents them. He reminds me of someone who would go on Shark Tank to just sell the randomest, dumbest thing. And today, Falcon and Rio and Bradford don't have the heavy metal band anymore. They make tiny homes on their Florida compound. And Falcon documents all the building projects on Instagram, where his bio reads, I like to laugh and be active. You can find me actively laughing while being active. And referencing the Balloon Boy incident when he was being interviewed about this new documentary, Falcon joked to People magazine, I have a track record of hiding in small spaces, so I guess it makes sense that now I'm building tiny homes.
Yeah.
Aww.
Cute.
And that is just the gist.
So good.
Of Balloon Boy. Yes. What did you think of that, James, considering you knew nothing about it?
I loved it. I loved it. There were moments where I feel like I had like kind of flashbacks, like maybe I got in 2009, got like snippets.
2009.
2009. 2009 had like snippets of stuff. I've got memory of like a family like lighting themselves on fire. And like just doing like weird things like that for attention.
I was about to say that's not them, but to be honest, it might be them, because after the Balloon Boy thing happened, a lot of footage came out that I'm sure Richard released of like all the weird wacky stuff, adventure stuff they'd done together. Oh, and that's another detail. So it turned out later, they'd always said like, oh, you know, the news company, like the news stations have scanners, choppers got up there. It turns out that 10 minutes after calling the police, Richard immediately called the local news station and said, I'm only telling you this is happening because you guys have a helicopter, like a news helicopter, and I thought maybe you'd be able to help going up to find him. But the police were already sending a chopper, so it was like he was the one who called the news, and that's why they knew so quickly. So, you know, it was very planned. And when you watch the doco of this Richard guy, even today, he's like,
I can't wait to watch.
He'd go on a reality show in a heartbeat today. You know what I mean? Like it's
That's what I love about these, though, because I was like, yeah, the balloon boy. But there was so much that I didn't know or didn't remember or like details. I mean, the groin fan is a highlight.
I know. Just the gist. Come to us for all your nonsense that you don't need to know, but you're glad you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always love thinking about what important piece of information has been squeezed out of your brain to fit in what I just told you.
Worth it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Just the Gist, a Just the Network production. Executive produced and hosted by me, Rosie Waterland. Produced and edited by James Joseph with additional production support from JTG team Kate Lieber and Hayley Stavely and Acast legends Guy Scott Wilson and Simon McDermott. Looking for breaking news? It drops on the Just the Gist Patreon every Tuesday, along with a whole lot of other bonus audio, video, and behind-the-scenes content, which you can access for just $1, $1 a week by clicking the link in the show notes or searching Just the Gist Podcast on Patreon. Follow Just the Gist on Instagram and TikTok at Just the Gist Podcast and watch the video version of every episode on our YouTube channel, also at, funnily enough, Just the Gist Podcast. Follow Rosie, that's me, in all of the places at Rosie Waterland. Want to give us a suggestion? Tell Rosie to stop singing so much? Email us at hello@justthegist.com.au. Thank you, as always, for listening. Now go say something impressive at a dinner party. Bye.